Hey, what is going on YouTube? Thanks for tuning in. My name is Ferris, and today I want to talk to you guys about the GoPro Hero 7 Black, which I recently picked up. Now, you've all seen the videos about the hyper smooth and the image quality, and yes, that stuff is all true. I've taken this thing not just on regular roads, but down bumpy dirt roads. I've ran with it in my backyard, and yeah, hyper smooth is legit. This thing is rock solid, way better than previous models of GoPros that I've owned. But today specifically, I want to talk to you guys about the night lapse mode. I was curious to see if I pointed this thing at the stars, what kind of images I'd get out of it. So I drove out as far as I possibly could from the lights of Los Angeles and found myself in a super dark part of the world, and I set up shop. I mounted the GoPro on the GoPro tripod and hooked it up to external battery, pressed the record button, and I let it record for 5.5 hours. 5.5 hours gave me 605 pictures. Once you put those into GoPro Studio, it's really easy. The program pretty much does all the work for you. It stitches all those pictures together and makes them into a little movie for you. And here's what it looks like. Not too bad, right? But I think we can do just a little bit better. So I imported all 605 JPEG images into Lightroom. I edited one, I copied and pasted all the settings onto the other 604 pictures, took those pictures and put them into Final Cut Pro instead of the GoPro Studio. And I only did that because I wanted to add some music and some sound clips, and I'm just more comfortable using Final Cut Pro than I am using GoPro Studio. So you do have to change some of the settings on the GoPro before you can try any kind of night lapse. Out of the box, it just won't do a good job. So here are the settings that I used. Okay, so first thing, you wanna find your night lapse and click on that. Once it goes there, you want to click on the center portion here, which gives you your night lapse photo settings. Now, as you can see, there's not a lot to choose from right here unless you turn on Pro Tune. That's your first step, is turning on the Pro Tune to unlock all the other settings. So as far as shutter speed, I picked 30 seconds. As far as interval, I picked auto. Field of view, I did wide, and I'm kind of curious to try linear next time, but for this video I just did wide. For the raw option, I just went with just regular JPEG on this one. Again, something I can mess around with next time and try the raw images. I might be able to edit those much better, like raw files I take with my regular cameras. But again, for this one, I just went raw off. Pro Tune is on. EV compensation is not really available, so I didn't worry about that one. White balance, I went with 5500. You have the option of going from anywhere from 6000 down to 2300. I went 5500, so we'll just keep 5500. We'll just keep it at that. ISO minimum, you want to set this at the minimum, which is 100. ISO maximum is the maximum you can go is 1600. Sharpness, I went medium just because I knew I was gonna edit these in Lightroom and add some sharpness there, so we'll just do medium there. Color, I went GoPro color, and that's about it. There's one other button here, it says Pro Tune settings reset. That'll just take it back to just out of the box factory if you press that, so don't press that unless you want to go through that whole thing again. So once you have your settings all dialed in, you can go ahead and press the shutter button, let it do its thing. And again, you want to remember to hook it up to external power. And once you do that, the GoPro won't be waterproof anymore. So be careful if it's going to rain, if there's going to be any dew. Just keep that in mind. One more thing you have to worry about is that you do have to point this thing a lot higher, rotate it a lot higher than you normally would. You know, we always see GoPros like this, but for astrophotography and night lapse and getting the whole night sky, you want to tilt it up a lot higher. You'll want to do some test shots to see what your composition is going to be like. Again, it's pitch black out there, so you're not really sure what you're taking until you've actually taken it. So after I took a couple of test shots, I moved the camera around, rotated it up even more, pressed the record button, and just let it do its thing. I went to sleep and woke up the next morning and it was still going, still recording, and I stopped it because it was just too much light out, and that long shutter speed is just gonna make everything super bright, as you'll see in the video. So let's dive into the computer and show you what I did with this. Alright guys, so I've already imported my pictures from my GoPro. Again, there's 605 of them. I like to be as organized as I possibly can, so I made a specific folder just for these pictures. That way I don't have to go sifting around other files trying to find these pictures. Now I want to real quick to show you the GoPro Studio app, as that is the easiest way to do it. Highlight all the pictures that you took, and drop them into the left side of the screen here where it says import new files. Give it about a second and there it is. Now without having to do anything, GoPro Studio already puts this together for you into a motion time lapse. You can see here that it's 20 seconds long at a frame rate of 29.97. Here's what the image will look like, and if you go ahead and press play, you can see all the movement in the stars, and not too bad at all, right? There's an airplane that went shooting across the sky there. This big bright star is actually Venus, which is kind of cool. And as the sun comes up, everything gets overexposed because of the 30-second shutter. Now from here, if you're happy with this, you would click on this little add clip to conversion list. Once it's here, you hit convert. It does its thing. You go into step 2, edit. Again, not a lot of options as far as editing. That's why I like to go into Lightroom and Final Cut. But again, if you're happy with it, edit, export, and then off you go. But again, I think we can do a little better. I imported these into Lightroom, and this is what it looks like before I edited the photo. This is straight from the GoPro, and you can tell it's a little bit grainy. It's a little bit dark. We're not going to get a whole lot of detail, but I do want to get rid of that grain and bring out some more of those stars. So by playing with some of the settings on the right hand side of the screen here, this is what it looks like afterwards. And you can see what I did. I added a little bit of exposure, I reduced a little bit of contrast, I upped the highlights, I upped the shadows. Clarity didn't really do too much, but I added just a little bit. Sharpening, you definitely want to add some sharpening. Now noise reduction, as far as luminance goes, this is kind of it's a give and take. If you move it to the right all the way up, it will take out more grain and give you a cleaner shot, but as you can see, we're also losing stars. And if we bring it down all the way, we're gaining stars, but it's a lot grainier of an image. So it's kind of a balance that you have to choose what is going to work for you. I had it at about, I think 72 is where I had it, and I found that kind of to be the happy medium where there's still plenty of stars out, and it's not as grainy as without it. And once I did that to one image, real easy, I can copy and sync to all images once they're highlighted, and I exported these out into, again, their own folder, because I just want to be able to separate the ones that are straight from the GoPro and the processed ones which I have edited. So once I have all these that are edited, open up Final Cut Pro, and I load them in here. Now Final Cut Pro, once you load your images in here, it'll play it as a movie, but it'll play it as a really long movie. I think like the 605 pictures that I took came out to like an hour and 16 minutes or something like that, because each frame is given like 10 seconds, which is the default that Final Cut Pro sets. But we want that to be much shorter, right? GoPro Studio gave us like 20 seconds. I'm happy with 30 seconds here for my night lapse. So what I did was I combined all the pictures together into one clip and increased that speed up to 20,000%, which is the absolute maximum that you can go. It won't even let me go any higher. So 20,000%, for me looked good. You can go at 15,000, you can go whatever. It's something you can mess with and see. If you go too slow, it's going to be choppy. If you go too fast, it won't look natural either. I found that it actually looks pretty good at 20,000, even though I can't go any higher. I added some music, I added some sound bites that I got from the web of actual communications between NASA and their astronauts. I also found a cool clip of Sputnik, which is the beeping sound that you're going to hear, which is really, really cool. As you can tell, I'm kind of a space geek. So let's check this out, you guys, and see what the final product came to be.
Houston, Discovery, how do you read?
Discovery, Houston, press to ATO.
Discovery, Houston, 20 seconds to LOS TDRS.
Contact, nice to be in orbit.
Discovery, Houston, recommend vector transfer to the BFS.
And from the crew of Apollo 8, we close with good night, good luck, a Merry Christmas, and God bless all of you on the good earth.
So overall, I'm really happy with how that came out. Again, it is what it is. This is a tiny little GoPro. And for that kind of quality to come out of that tiny little box is absolutely amazing. So I'm totally happy with it. Once you add the sound, once you add the music and the sound clips, just makes it so much better of an experience than just seeing the video go by itself. A couple things I learned for next time, if you go back and you see on the left side of the image, there's like a reddish kind of tint to the image, and I think that's because I forgot to turn off the red light that just the GoPros make on the front of the camera, but you can turn that off, so I think I can cure that. Also, the image was kind of square, which is why I want to go with linear next time for field of view instead of wide, to see if that kind of alleviates it. But that's it for today, you guys. I hope you guys learned something. I know I did. If you have any questions at all, if there's something that I missed or you need more explaining on, please leave a comment below. I'm more than happy to answer questions. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.